So I'll be talking about one of our two major assignments of the semester today, and that's the oral history paper. I sometimes also refer to this as the oral history project, but it is a 4 to 5 page written paper, and this must be written. For some of our reflection essays, I'm allowing us to make media pieces. You can send me an audio or a moving image file and just discuss it, much like I am discussing things with you here on video. But for both the final research paper, all 4 parts of that, which is our other large assignment, as well as this one I'm talking about today, the oral history paper, these must be written. So this is a 4 to 5 page written assignment, 12-point font, and double spaced is fine. And what you're going to do in this, and again, there's a written assignment sheet that goes along with this assignment. So some people will do better retaining information by someone talking to them, like I am here in this video, and other people will do better on that sheet of paper. I do recommend that you keep that PDF with you, the oral history assignment sheet, with you as you complete the assignment. Everything that is required for that assignment is in that document, including the rubric. So what I assign points for and how it's graded is actually included in that assignment sheet for you. So I'm just going to kind of go over some of those points here in the video, but also don't neglect looking at that oral history assignment sheet as you're working on this as well. So the one thing students tend to forget is an appendix. And so when you're making this interview, you're going to have this oral history report is going to be you interviewing 2 people. And when you're going to interview those people, you're going to come up with 5 or 6 questions. And you can have different questions for each interviewee, or the same questions that you ask for both of them. And what you're going to do for this oral history report is, first of all, you're going to find those interviewees, and the confines of the assignment is to be able to compare and contrast these 2 different people and their relationship with television. I want you to pick a younger interviewee and an older interviewee. So the younger interviewee should be between the ages of 18 and 35, and the older interviewee should be older than 45. And I want you to come up with 5 or 6 questions, and again, like I said, they could be the same questions for both or different, and that's going to be part of the appendix. Students do often forget the appendix for this assignment. So an appendix is a extra sheet at the end of a document, and it's something that while you're reading it, you can flip to the back and then look at. And for this oral history report, what I'd like you to include in the appendix are the 5 or 6 questions that you come up with. 5 are required, so make sure to have at least 5 questions. I also want the name, gender, race, ethnicity, and age of each interviewee, and in any other information that you think is relevant to me as the reader when I'm reading the document. And then the other part that should be included is the date, time, and length of each interview. So that's worth 7 points, and the questions alone are worth 5, and so people often forget that, and I just don't want you to forget that part of the document. So the oral history is worth 60 points, so it's a pretty significant assignment, and missing 7 just for the appendix is always kind of a shame. So don't forget that part. And then the other thing that is really important for the oral history report is, as the reader, as the instructor, one of the goals of this assignment is for you to connect what your interviewees are talking about to materials we've studied in our class. And so historical events is huge, and that's one thing that you can do with your questions. So if you don't ask your interviewees about television and how television has been a part of their life outside of fictional programming, you're going to miss some of the historical event points that are available for this assignment. And we've by this point in our semester, this again is the midterm assignment, so we haven't studied some of the later dates at this point. We've only gotten through like the 60s and the 70s. So your older interviewees are going to be able to connect those to those historical events in a way that your younger interviewees might not be able to. And so ask those leading questions, especially to the younger interviewees. Um, Maybe they didn't witness John F. Kennedy's assassination live on television or lived through the events themselves, but through the History Channel, from television news footage, from classes that they've been in where they have screened some of those historical documents, television as a historical document, they might be able to talk to you about some of those events. And then we're going to talk about some of these more recent events coming up in class. And so when they talk about some things we haven't come to yet, say, well, I don't think we've gotten there yet, but I bet we will talk about blank, like the Challenger shuttle explosion. That's something that people of my generation will probably remember. Gen Xers, that was our most significant disaster on television, the historical event that we witnessed as children, and that pretty much held our top number one place until September 11th, 2001. And most of your interviewees will probably be able to connect to September 11th, 2001. And although we haven't gotten to study that when you're at this point in the semester, we will. So you can, again, allude to the discussions that we will be having coming up. So again, this oral history interview, it can be a really fun assignment. I'm kind of going into all the nuts and bolts of it, but I want you to have fun with this assignment. This is a project where you can sit down with people that you already know or people that you don't know well at all. And you can do this in person, which is always kind of fun, like maybe with a roommate or something like that. But you can also do this online. You could do it through Skype or video connection like that, or on the telephone. You could do this by email. There's nothing wrong with having your answers written from a person. You can do this with the interviewees together or separate. So don't hesitate to talk to people that you already know a lot about, and you might be surprised with some of their answers about television. And it can be a fun way to get a little bit closer with people that you know, like perhaps a parent or an aunt and an uncle, maybe even a grandpa or a grandma, and talk to them about some of this historical television that we're learning about so far in the semester. Can be a really great way to connect with people. So make sure to look at that assignment sheet when you're working on this. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm available through messaging on Canvas as well as email through Columbia. And if you want to set up any kind of meeting, I'm available to do that as well. All right, have fun with this assignment, and I'm looking forward to reading all your oral history reports.